Maxx Crosby, he's going to come in at the end, punch it out.
Holmes is sacked by Crosby, his second of the game.
A couple different moments every year where I get to take a deep breath.
Mad Max.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to The Rush with the one and only Mad Maxx Crosby. I am your co-host, Brogan Roback. We got the dogs in the studio, Grill, DT. This is episode 16. So we appreciate that. And Max, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, so I'm going to kick this over. You got something special to tell Condor Cartel and the rest of our fans?
Yeah, I appreciate that. We got a special guest today. A guy that we know, everyone knows pretty well around the NFL world and just sports media in general. But our guy Ian Rapoport will be joining today on The Rush, so we're gonna get all the inside scoop on what's going on, a little bit of background on him, and we're fired up for it. So yeah, it's gonna be a special episode. All right, y'all. I already gave you the introduction, but our man here, Ian Rapoport, is in the building. We appreciate you for spending a little bit of time with us. I'm gonna start it off. We're gonna get right to it. You've been in this business for a long time. I wanted to ask you, what's the biggest challenges of your job, and what motivates you to be at the top of your field?
First of all, thank you guys for having me. This is very cool. And Max, I must say, congratulations on the desired choice of head coach. I know that's a very cool thing for Raider Nation. I think AP is going to do a really, really good job. I was really happy to see that worked out.
No doubt.
I would say for me, it is. I think the biggest challenge for me was when I first started getting to know everyone. Because there's so many people and it's so multifaceted. And there's just sources everywhere, and there's people I need to meet, and it's a million of them, and it never stops. And so every time you think you got something handled, there's a new person, or there's a new topic, or there's new. It literally never stops, right? And so I think the ongoing nature of this job will sort of grind at you, but it also rewards you for working a lot and never stopping yourself. So it's kind of a marathon and a sprint. And I think that's been hard over the years, but once I kind of got a good base, it's like getting in shape. It's like once you get a good base, anything else you can sort of tackle. And that's kind of what I think I've benefited from the last couple of years.
I love that. Brogan?
And would you say right now is the busiest time of the year for you?
There's a couple different pockets of time where it gets like crazy. This is one of them. And this is weird because the day or maybe the week after the season, it's like really intense and coaches get fired. And then it's just like nonstop news for the next 3 weeks. There's really no other time of year that's like that. It's really either this right here or free agency. But free agency is just absolute bonkers because it is nonstop. But it's really only 5 or 6 days. So you don't sleep. My phone is like under my ear.
It's like hell week for you.
It's like hell week.
Yeah.
But then, there's something funny that there's a couple of different moments every year where I get to take a deep breath and smile. Okay. One is the Friday when free agency basically ends, and there'll be some signing that a backup, running back or something signs. And you'll tweet it and then talk about it on TV, and you realize all right, the reaction isn't exactly
crazy.
Not a blockbuster. And you're like, all right, free agency's over. And I'll go outside and I'll see that the sun is shining and it's getting a little warmer. And I'll be like, all right, I made it.
Yeah,
that's one. And then the other one is after the draft every year when the last pick is up, and I get to take a deep breath and smile and, maybe have a sip of something or two.
What are you sipping on? What are you sipping on? A little bourbon, a little whiskey? What's your go-to?
Usually it's a beer. After the draft, usually it's a beer. And just be like, all right, the off season is here. And that is a good thing. So those are kind of my 2 times when I get to take a deep breath.
I love it. And I'm curious because your phone's probably going absolutely bonkers. I can imagine. I wouldn't be shocked if you had 2 phones over there, maybe even 3. But for you,
no, let me stop you right there. Firm believer in one phone.
Yes.
I'm team one phone.
I
don't
team
understand.
One phone. I'm the same way.
Look, I'm not I'm not in need of a bat phone. I know some people are. I'm most certainly not. I only have 2 hands. I only have 1 mouth. I can only talk on the phone on 1 phone at the same time. And if I need to text, I can just or tweet. I can just put someone on speaker. I am team 1 phone, and I am staunchly for that.
So confirm that there's no burner
that.
for Ian Rapoport. That's what you're saying. You're confirming that.
Yeah, no burner.
I love it.
If someone gets a text from me and it's not my regular phone number, I promise I do.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I got another one for you. But coming into the world of inside reporting, how does one find trusted sources? I've always wondered that. Like how do you find someone you truly, truly trust and can go with that? And what's that process like coming into it for the first time for you? Just your journey, so to speak.
Yeah, I would say it does take a while, and when you just start, you're really looking for anything. It's like a player, and you just get on the field, and all you want to do is make splash plays. And it's like, and I'm sure Max, I'm sure you've seen this, like a young guy, and he's trying to get a sack every single time, and it doesn't really work like that, right? So like, this job is better when you get sources you trust, and instead of just like, all right, someone told me this, I'm going to tweet it and let's go. It's like you get news. All right, who knows this is true? How can I verify this? If I report this, what happens? Who do I need to tell before I report it just so they get a heads up so they're not, so their family doesn't read about it on Twitter before you report it? Like all these things need to happen. And there's a long process that goes through like actually breaking news. And what you find is there'll be people, and I get this a lot, who'll be like, yo, I got this for you. Here's this, hot news. Here's a big scoop, whatever. And you'll try to verify it, and it's like kind of half-baked or it's not true. And you'll be like, all right, this person's kind of in it for the wrong reasons. Or if this person tells me this, I need to verify. Or they're trying to get their side out, and it's not totally true. But the way you learn it is just by verifying literally everything. And now there are some people who, through trial and error over years, like when they tell me, like that is gold. Like an agent's like, hey, I just signed this contract. Like that's money. You're involved. You're doing the deal. But there's a lot of other stuff where you got to make absolutely sure,
Yeah. I wanted to know, as a household name, right, in the sports media world, what does that pressure to produce look like for you, right? And how's that compared to an athlete? Like an athlete, it's always a what have you done for me lately type of industry. This is your career for your life, right? So kind of talk to me about that if you can.
Yeah, I think, it's weird because when I first started, like I was saying, you want to make splash plays. Like you want to break news, splash, splash, splash. And I wondered if that would go away. And it really doesn't. Because, if there's like, I've done this for 12 years, right? And it is a lot. And when I'm working, I am really working. And there are times like, I don't know, like let's say right now, or I'm really like dreaming of the golf course, or like,
what's the handicap?
Just being on some top. I'm like an 11.
That's good.
I've been as low as a 9.
Okay.
I went out and shot 77.
Damn.
An absolutely incredible round for me. And my handicap dropped 2 points, and then I spent the rest of the year losing.
Never again.
Handicap was so low. Anyway,
that's funny.
So now it's back to probably where it should be.
That's all right.
But like, there's times when I'm just like, I got to get away. I'm dying here. It's just too much. But still, the desire to like prove yourself, break news, like it's always there. And even though I'm kind of at a point now where like people know where I am, and I think they know I kind of break news on a regular basis. If it's been a while, I'll still wake up and be like, got to get something today. Like you just sort of always feel like you got to keep producing. And I don't know if that's ever going to go away. And I guess I hope it doesn't, because that's kind of what keeps you sharp,
Absolutely.
No doubt. I think it compares, like when you make a football comparison, in a sense, if, I always say comparison's the thief of all joy. Like I'm never trying to compare myself to any other, player, anything, everyone wants to compare me to TJ or Mike or whatever it is. But I just want to ask, like, do you look at the guys like Schefter, Josina Anderson, all the other big, names in your space? Do you look at them as competition, or you kind of just stay in your own lane and just have your own foundation and rely off that?
Well, I always look at it. And actually it's, when I first started, I really tried hard to like just stay in my own lane, report what I report, and not worry about it.
Yeah.
But that's like I have to, and even still, I'll do that now. But it's in a weird way, it's a little like disrespectful, and I have definitely done that and haven't meant it because like you'll report something and someone will be like, hey, like I reported. You report this deal is done. They'll say, oh, I had it, that it was expected to be done. You're like, like I can't just narrow-mindedly focus on what you have to have eyes wide open. You have to know what everyone else reported all the time.
Yeah.
But I do pay attention to the other people. And, it was probably more of a case when I was kind of just getting started. But, you really try to take everything from everyone. Like if someone breaks a story, like it's annoying you got beat and we all get beat, right? Like when you realize, just when you think that you're just like rolling and life is good, like that's when you're going to get beat. That's when it happens.
Yeah.
So we all get beat. But what will happen sometimes is someone will beat you on something and you're like, all right, how did they do that? Like I lost this one. That's an L. That's on me. Like, how did they do it? What technique did they use? Who did they go after? What source might they have used? Like, when were they working when I wasn't? So like, I take note of all the other insiders do. And unfortunately, like it's really competitive and there's a lot of other people that are really good.
Yeah.
And to like try to understand what they do and how maybe I could use a little bit of that. I still do that. I'm like, basically every time you get beat, you're kind of like, all right, how did this happen? How can we regroup? Like that happens on a constant
Back to the
basis.
film room.
No, I love that. I think that's that's the real honesty because as a player, guys can say, yeah, I don't pay attention to anybody else and I just stay in my own lane, and everybody knows that's not the truth. At the end of the day, like I see everything going on. I see who's leading in sacks. I see who has most TFLs, who's up there in pressures. I'm not like ultra focused on it, but I keep it in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? So I can definitely relate to that in that way. So that's good. That's good to hear.
And you've always heard like, when like, let's say pass rushers, like you watch someone, you're watching on a Sunday night, someone gets 3 sacks and you're like, all right, I see what he did against this tackle here. And maybe if I see this guy, maybe I'll like, there's actually, much less physical in my world. But there's actually a lot of that where like you could steal from people and be like, well, this phrasing works, or, hey, like if you think that like, that this reporter's got these sources, he's probably going to break this, but there's a way I can get ahead of it so people can know I had it first. Like you sort of can watch and learn from what everyone's doing. And, it's really competitive now, unfortunately. So there's a lot of different times to learn, I guess.
No doubt.
Do you guys keep
awesome.
tally? Like Maxx, they keep stats, they keep track. Everyone's looking at what one another is doing. But do you and Shefty, do you guys keep a little tallies on the side personally? Maybe as a fun little competition. I'm just curious if you guys do any of that or just something to motivate you. We'll keep score, if I should say.
Not really. There's some reporters who will, like, if you get something, you'll sort of shoot them a text, but it's not, it's so intense, for better or worse, that I would never do that to anyone else in the moment. And I don't think anybody would do that to me. Now, like there are times when like, you'll see people like, see Schefter or whoever at the draft, kind of mention like, hey, like, when this thing happened and when this story broke. But I think in the moment, it's always so intense. And like, if you're, you think you're going to break something happens, or you misunderstood a text, or like someone texted someone else instead of you, like it's not always the greatest feeling in the world. So, you wouldn't really reach out to someone. And I think what's, we do this. And again, like you want to break as much stories as you can. What you find is like, nobody really keeps score.
Mm-hmm.
You just want enough of them where people know, like, all right, when I see that guy on the TV or I see his tweets, I know, or girl, I know that like that's real and I should pay attention to that, and that's important. And that's, you want to just build up enough equity that people know when you report something like that's real and that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. I'm just curious because you're talking about breaking news right now, Rap. If you could predict one off-season move that kind of takes over the headlines this year, what would you say it is with all this stuff going on right about now?
It's always quarterbacks, right? So, I think it's like free agency is again wild and like, phone under the pillow and like I have horror stories of like someone's supposed to text me at, when a deal gets done, and they text me and it's like 2:15 in the morning and they say, "Hey, are you awake?" And I'm like, "Bro, like you got to call me to wake me up. I don't care." Like there's a lot of that. So free agency is wild, but really it's also about the quarterback trades and like who's going where. So to me, it's like, where does Russell Wilson go? Does he stay in Denver? Does he get or does he get traded or released? Jimmy Garoppolo, does he get traded or released? Where does he end up going? Justin Fields, what do the Bears do with number one?
That's like the biggest question, I feel like, right now.
The biggest question. So, like, the Bears, as we're taping this, the Bears interviewed Cliff Kingsbury for the OC job today, which is interesting, right? But everyone in the world was like, hang on. Coach Caleb Williams, they may take Caleb Williams. Are they just using this to get some info? Or like, and if they hire Cliff, what does that mean? Like, that's taken over everything.
Yeah.
And I think, probably the quarterback trade / like what do the Bears do, to me is like as important as anything this offseason.
Absolutely. It's a good transition. I think Creel's got one about quarterbacks here for you.
Yeah, just to touch base off what you just said, is this the deepest QB pool of recent memory in collaboration with free agents, draft picks, everything going into it? There's a handful of guys in the draft that are projected, first or second round tier, and then there's a handful of guys that are solidified NFL guys who are now looking for new homes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the most because I'm not there yet on the drafted players. Like, well, could we get quarterback, 1, 2, 3? I think we could.
Yeah.
Right. Depends on Jaden from LSU, but I think we could. Yeah. We'll see. That's pretty high powered. No, I don't know enough to say that right now. In like 2 months, I probably will.
Okay.
3 months, I probably will. But I don't know it right now. But when it comes to this like free agent class, you got Garoppolo. Probably maybe have Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins.
There's another one. Yeah.
Kyler Murray.
You got. What's going to happen with Fields? There's some real maneuvering that's going to go on, and so I think it's going to get real. I think it's going to get interesting, and you look around at who needs a head coach, and every team except for the Chargers has a quarterback issue. Like there's nothing more important. It's like with the Raiders this year. If Garoppolo plays better, we're probably not talking about Antonio Pierce as an interim coach. Like it's all about the quarterback, with all due respect to pass rushers. So I think that's going to, dominate our offseason again.
Sure.
Yeah. I know you're short on time, but I want to ring two quick little questions on you. So Chargers job, Falcons job. Who do you think are the two biggest candidates in those instances?
I think for both those jobs, you're looking at some big candidates. I think for the Chargers, it's not like it's Jim Harbaugh's job to lose. Like I don't want to paint it like that.
Yeah.
But he certainly is a strong candidate there. And the real question for me is does he want to be in the NFL? I know he interviewed with the Falcons, but to me, Chargers are a little more so. So it's really is this flirtation with the NFL real, or is it to get a better deal out of Michigan? If it's to get a better deal out of Michigan, all respect, no issues. Use whatever leverage you have.
No.
Totally fine. Then the Chargers would need a different coach. But to me, that makes sense there. And I think for the Falcons, as we tape this now, Belichick is interviewing a second time with the Falcons. That's pretty interesting. I mean, he's the greatest coach of all time. If you leave that search by saying all we did was hire the greatest coach who ever did it.
Is it kind of shocking, though, that he's thinking about Atlanta? I feel like for outside people, it's a little surprising.
It's random.
I have a thought, which I'll share later on that. Yeah.
What's your thought? I want to hear it, Dustin.
No disrespect to any other teams, but he had a history of playing in a very weak conference that solidified, sliding into home playoff games. That has to be the worst conference, right?
No.
And they're a solid team. I'm not saying that he is the greatest coach of all time. I'll take nothing away from the man, but he had a cakewalk to a 10 to 12 win season year in and year out to solidify that home on the field. That's a great fit for him.
You got a point.
I thought about that. But I would say, so not totally wrong. It's not the greatest division ever. But I kind of like them the way they're set up. I mean, the offensive line's pretty good. They got a good running back. They
No
got
doubt.
some good weapons. That defense was pretty feisty this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you need a quarterback. So, like, if you don't have one,
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
he's
That's
probably in the
good
same
luck.
position.
Yeah,
as
that's the
Wiggins.
glaring issue for them
So
right
it's like,
now.
what do they do? Do they trade up? Or do they trade for Fields? Like, what do they do? But to me, like, if you get a quarterback, you
Yeah.
can win there.
Sure.
No,
I
for
kind of
sure.
like now. There's the other part of it that he, murdered them in 28-3 in the Super Bowl. So like that would be
Yeah.
nice.
Never forget that one.
People can
Yeah.
forget.
It's like an apology.
Yeah.
Apology accepted.
Yeah.
I think the
An
Falcons will
apology,
forget that and
yeah.
say, "Bring us one. We'll call it even."
Yeah, we'll call it a truce.
Yeah, I mean, and that would literally be even. So there you go.
I got one.
D, you got one
I got a
more,
quick
then we
one.
got to let him go.
I gotta ask.
All right, let it
All
rip.
right, so
Yeah,
we're
quick
2
one.
years in, and I want to know what your thoughts are on the Browns Deshaun Watson relationship, and is that the worst transaction in your career that you've seen?
So I disagree. And I know people are talking about like it's a failed trade. I
Okay.
don't see that. Okay. First of all, if you don't have a quarterback, then
You don't have a
you're
shot.
Yeah.
lost.
Shit.
Okay,
no.
you're lost. So it's like free agency. It's like people will talk about players being
Mhm.
overpaid in free agency, and it's like yes, but that's what it costs
Yeah.
to get them,
Yeah.
right? Like
No.
free agents are more expensive. That's literally the market. The market is what it is. Like that's what the Browns need to pay, and I don't think it was an overpay because there were other teams
Yeah.
willing to do it, right?
Mhm.
He got hurt this year. That sucks. He got hurt. Before that, he had played in the fourth quarter, leading a dramatic comeback with literally a broken shoulder. And I think was
Yeah.
on his way to doing this. Like it looked good. So I know they went to the playoffs with Joe Flacco. To me, I think that's still going to work. And I don't fault them for the transaction when it comes to football because if you don't have one, like they're probably not employed.
All right, that's all I needed as a
Yeah.
Browns fan. Give me a little shimmer of hope going into this offseason, my friend.
Yeah, he just
you
got
go.
you right, D.
That's what I'm here
Get your
for.
mind right. Positivity. Positivity.
Go kill it
Go
on
do
air,
something.
Ian. We truly appreciate you. Seriously.
Yeah. Absolutely, brother.
We'll have
Thank
him
you so
back.
much for coming on.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. Maxx, congrats again, and look forward
yeah.
to seeing you guys
See
in
you,
Vegas.
Yes, sir. See you soon, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, I honestly got that secret sauce, and this is actually a good little break really quick. Like, subscribe, everybody, Condor Cartel, or if this is your first time tuning in, or if you're a huge Rapoport fan and you just want to be an inside trader yourself, fuel up on some Zen water, a little sponsorship from them. Give them a little love
Zen
anytime you
water.
can. Max's
Absolutely.
favorite person in the world, James Harden, rocking it every time he walks into a game, stays
Oh, yeah.
hydrated.
Part of the Zen family. Also, get you some slate milk. You'll see it on the inside of the UFC octagon. See it all over the place. Get
Let's
you some
go.
slate milk, French vanilla, my favorite flavor if you want.
Really quick, Max, since you just said UFC, you had to sit down here on ESPN with Sean Strickland, who you already, have jumped in the cage with, sparred with. We already talked about that before. But what's your prediction this weekend, Sean Duplessis? I know you're rolling with your guy. Just curious how you think it's going to end.
Yeah, I'm fired up for this fight. I mean, both these dudes are strikers, both violent, both fearless. It's going to be a bloodbath. I'm honestly like a little bit nervous. Obviously, that I've gotten closer with Sean and spent more time with him, over the years. So, it holds a little bit more weight watching him go out there and fight. Especially it's his first world title defense. So, my prediction is that Sean is going to finish Duplessis in the fourth round. He's going to wear him down. I think it's going to be a bloodbath early on. Sean might get caught a couple times. It's going to be back and forth, but Sean is the better cardio, and I think in the fourth round he's going to start wearing him down, and he's going to TKO him and finish him.
I like that. I'm going to go. Yeah, I was going to say, I think your shit was a little blurry. Low key, Max, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm rolling with Strickland. I think he's going to knock him out. But they both come forward as fighters. They're
Yeah, he's
Literally.
a demon, bro.
So who do you
Draw a
think's
line
gonna-
on the
who's gonna
mat.
win
We're
that?
just going to throw him.
yes,
Yeah,
just
bro.
a concrete
He's gonna
wall.
walk forward and just stand in front of you and bang, bang, bang. Yeah, that
Yeah.
fight's gonna be insane, bro. I'm fired up.
So yeah, we'll be tuned in. You know what's funny? A lot of comments on the last YouTube video. People want to see a live stream. DT, I know you saw that. They want to see a live
Yeah.
stream of the boys either watching a
They do.
playoff game. It could be a UFC fight too.
Yeah,
They do. We will be together this weekend, 12.
Yes, we will.
We're going to be watching that Strickland fight.
We'll be screaming. Don't be
Come on,
real.
man.
So we'll be
Let's be special. Let's be special. I mean, we definitely got to do that. I mean, that's something. I mean, maybe possibly Super Bowl. We're all gonna be together. Super Bowl. We might have to do a Super Bowl live
That's not
pod and have some special guests come through as we're watching. Maybe get a little
Yes.
weird. So
I like that.
definitely has
That'd be
potential.
Some
Yeah,
like
we
Manning
get-
cast shit. I like where your head's at.
I'm always thinking about the next step. You know what I mean?
Big brain, Cine. Big brain and
brain,
big head. I love it.
Yes, big beard.
So, big beard. Hey, Max. So let's just recap a little bit. Last week, it was a pretty big episode. You took a strong stance. You stood by your guy AP like you have all year long or all season long since he's taken over. You and other players. So, what was the feedback do you feel like you got from that episode, if you even pay attention to it at all? And then now you're starting to hear today that AP's hired. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
I mean, breath of fresh air, fired up. That's really all I can say. I'm just ready to get to work. Obviously, I had to get this surgery, get my knee back together, get the bursa taken out. Got one more procedure, getting the thumb done next week in LA again. But I'm fired up, bro. We're gonna get back to work, keep building what we've already started, and I'm fired up for the future, bro. We have something special going, and AP is the right man for the job. I feel like everyone feels that, everyone knows that. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we I had to say a few things, but I just wanted what's right for the organization. At the end of the day, it's about the team. It's about us as a whole, and I feel like AP is the perfect guy to lead us to where we want to go. So, people are gonna have their opinions and things like that, but at the end of the day, I love this team, and I want us to win, and that's really all that matters to me. So I'm fired up, bro. I got the news today. I was fucking jumping around the house. The vibes were heavy. Dirk was,
you were jumping on one leg
around. Yeah, jumping around exactly, jumping around on one leg and getting to work. So it's exciting, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys. It's gonna be good to see AP bring a couple of his guys, so to speak, in on the team that he thinks can fill some holes maybe on the roster, and just see the impact that they make, and just see him with the full season with you guys. So can't wait to just watch the Raider way for the full season. But speaking of you peg legging around the house, jumping up and down with AP's hire, how's the knee feeling though? Were you surprised in surgery a little bit with anything? And what's the recovery like for you? Because I'm sure everybody is waiting at the edge of their seats.
Surgery was a great success. Everything went really well. I have to have a big ass brace on it and have to be straight legged for at least a week. So I'm kind of down, right now. But everything went great. It's gonna be a 2 to 3 month recovery to be fully back and healed. I got the thumb as well. My UCL is torn in my thumb. Dealt with that about half the year. But I got that. I'm getting that fixed up. So I'll be back and ready to roll in April-ish, but I'll still be training and doing what I do in different ways. But we got a great routine and great plan going forward, approaching it. It's a little bit different, but that's just kind of what comes with the business. You know what I mean? I'm going in my 6th year now. You're going to have to, every offseason is different. You're going to have to navigate the waters a little bit different, but there's more than one street to get to where we want to go. So I know I'm more motivated than ever. I'm fired up for this offseason to get rolling. And it's a blessing, bro. I'm just glad it wasn't worse than than what it got, because it was bad. My bursa was like literally 10 times the size of what it should be. They had to take it. It was literally all the way down to like my tibia and the side of my knee and all the way up into my quad. Like he had to get every bit of it out because it was just smashed. And I kept smashing it over and over and over again. So it was just mutilated literally in my leg. So he had to get all that shit out of there. And it was, causing me some issues and discomfort, as the season went on. But, it comes to the territory, bro. We were able to play all 17 again, and definitely plan on doing that going forward.
What are you going for, the Iron Man award, Joe Thomas type deal, not missing any games? Because, hey, a couple years ago, you had surgery, shoulder, and your hand. You were walking around like Ebonics, man. Like,
yeah,
you're going to do the same thing all over again. You don't miss any snaps, though, and you play through so many injuries, and people truly don't understand and you're still playing at top level, literally top 2, not 2. You know what it is. But are you going for the Iron Man award? What's going on with that?
No, I feel like, people say this all the time, but what is it? The best ability is availability.
Availability, yes.
So yeah, that's the quote. But yeah, for me, I never want to miss. Like, that's just my personality, bro. I never want to miss. I always want to be out there, and I want to help us win and be the reason, a big reason why we win. And so, yeah, bro, I never want to miss a practice. I never want to miss a workout. You guys know how I am. I put everything into this, bro. It's my whole life. And, yeah, so if I could play, I could play. And, it's good. The offseason came at a great time. And, now I could get a little bit of rest and get this shit back together. And we'll be rolling here in no time.
Yeah, really quick. You just mentioned offseason. What's that going to look like for you? Because it's obviously going to be a little different just early on for you as opposed to what you're used to. You're in that gym every day. There's no days off. So what's offseason looking like for you, Maxx?
Yeah, so I'm able to get back in the building Monday, which is awesome. We're going to start doing a little bit of work, as much as I possibly could do, but it's going to be obviously limited. So yeah, we have a great plan, great foundation. I sat down, obviously, like I do every single year, with my strength staff, nutritionist, my massage therapist, everybody involved. We got a great plan. We talk about every year we kind of have a motto and a theme, and this year it's refinement and elevation. I just told you all about that. So find that 1% in every single way and just take another huge leap next year. That's the goal and that's the plan, and that's what we plan on doing.
Yeah, you're locked in. Not only that, dude. What do you mean? Let them know. We're going to be tearing up the podcast world all off season.
Damn right. Fuck. Damn right. It's not just on the field; it's off the field.
Berg,
every single way.
Tell them.
Every single way. Talk to them.
Like and subscribe if you haven't. Mid episode if you're doing it, that's cool. But
talk to them.
Yes. Like, comment,
now.
Subscribe right now.
That's right.
As we're listening.
As we're listening. Yeah. No, and Maxx, I don't know, DT, Krill, can we spoil any of what's going to be going on during Super Bowl week, or should we wait and touch on it?
I say we wait. I say we wait. We're just let them know that the crew's gonna be together. The Super Bowl's in you got the king of the city right here in Vegas, right? So it only makes sense that we're all together. So I think that we're gonna be around town all week, and it'll be interesting.
Foot soldiers.
Sure. Yeah, I think
soldiers.
What are we gonna knock out? Hopefully, knock out about 8 episodes with a lot of cool guests for everybody. And Maxx might be onto something there with the live stream. It'd be interesting.
We hear the people. We can't pick and choose what we listen to, right? They say they want merch, we get them merch. Like everybody's swagged out when it's today. They say they want a live stream. Why can't we give the people a live stream? Why can't we just be our authentic self?
We're gonna do a live stream. Yeah. We're just gonna have to put a muzzle on.
Can we put like a 5
potentially
second
myself delay? And also DT, but it's all good.
So all of us.
Just don't get Creel in a crowded Detroit, region, and we'll be good.
Everybody's got their trigger.
We're all gonna be good.
No door handles are safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Lock buttons work.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of Creel and his composure, which we love, and he does a great job, and he's working on it. If anybody's curious. Creel, I'm going to send this over to you.
Counseling. Oh, yeah. There we go.
I'm going to send it over to you, bro, for a little around the league, little playoff predictions. We did this last week. Sorry, I'm pulling this up.
You want to hit us with the
our
stats?
Records.
The overall?
Yeah. You got that?
No,
Can you read us off the stats?
Well, it's just a
Go
tie.
ahead and say me.
Yeah, it's a tie ball game. We have 2 at 5-1 and 2 at 500. Maxx and DT had one lost. They were 5-1, and you and I split the slate 3-3.
Congrats, boys.
Hey,
not how you start though.
It's a marathon. It's a marathon.
That's how you finish.
That's
right.
And guess who finished? Guess who's out? The Cowboys. See ya. Those boys are sitting home pissed. No disrespect to them, but we called the Packers. Didn't we?
Yes.
Hey,
we called the Packers. I mean, I was literally watching it earlier. My prediction was slightly off. I thought it was going to be a closer game, but it ended up being a shellacking. But I did predict that Jordan Love would have his breakout coming out official. I'm here now.
Is he top 5, Maxx?
He definitely did that.
Period.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say he's top 5
top 8
already, but I mean, right now in the playoffs, he's probably. I mean, he's playing better football than damn near anybody.
Him and CJ close, right? Who's better? Is Jordan Love? He's not a rookie, but it feels like it's his rookie season.
No.
He's like been in the league for fourth. Fourth, something like that.
So there's levels.
Yeah, but still, it's his first time starting and playing. So, Yeah, bro. I mean, right now it's gonna be. I mean, C.J. Stroud versus Lamar Jackson. I'm excited to see.
That's the first
I'm
game.
excited to see
Let's
that.
talk about
That's
it.
Let's talk about it.
Texans. Let's go. Texans at Baltimore. Again, huge game, right? It's like who's who type of shit. C.J. Stroud is like really nothing to lose because you're going against what's going to be the MVP of the league. You know, no one's really giving him a shot. Whereas Lamar Jackson's in a spot where it's a home playoff game. I'm playing a rookie. I gotta win. It's going to be, I think, a great game, back and forth. But personally, I'm going with Baltimore. I think they have the stronger team overall, defensively at every level. The front line, linebackers in the back end, they're playing really well. I think they give them 27-14 Baltimore.
Oh,
It's close early, but I think they're going to pull out.
I like that.
All right, D.
What?
I was hoping I just hope I could get 2 more sentences of someone to talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna follow Creel on that one. The Ravens are gonna win this game, right? It's the Texans absolutely deserve to win at home against the Browns. They whooped the shit out of them. I mean, the Browns defense, we look like a shell of ourselves. Never seen. So yeah, I think more power to him. I like C.J. Stroud. I've talked a lot of shit about Ohio State's quarterback production, and so out of the last 20 years. They finally have someone to hang over my head, so I'll take it. He's a good player. He's a great player. So I'm gonna go with my prediction of last week was that the defense for the Browns was going to be able to slow down C.J. Stroud. Right, I was hoping that they would give him different looks. They would be able to pressure him. They would be able to get him in uncomfortable positions. I think that the Ravens do that this week. I think that the Ravens have a solid defense, and they're going to bring it. And it's at home, and they've had time off. My prediction's 31-17 Ravens, and they get the momentum rolling. They're going after the ring.
Wow.
No, that's good. Back-to-back Raven guys, which is crazy because that's a Brown and a Steelers fan right there, and they're going for the Ravens. So,
amen.
Respect it.
I feel that. I feel like I really, really like DeMeco Ryan. Starting to become one of my favorite coaches in the league. Just a good leader. Guys respond. Player coach. He walked the walk. I feel you, D. I grew up hating Ohio State. You know that. So quarterbacks at Ohio State don't really they don't succeed as much as others do. I should just say pan out. That's another good one. But pretty much, I think that being said, they ain't in the dome anymore. And on top of that, I think Ravens, there's just levels ahead. I think they're magic. It was a cute little story for the Texans. Everyone's really geeked up for them, and they overachieved. And I think this is where their bus stopped right here. So I'm going to say 28-7 Ravens.
Ooh.
I'm torn because of spread, but
Wow.
Before you go, I got a question. Weren't the Texans the worst team in the league last year? Now they're in the second round of the playoffs, right?
They were.
And built by the Browns because we gave all of our picks away.
I was just gonna say they got two studs, Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud, instant dominators.
But come on,
that's crazy. Wow. I mean, everybody wants to pick the Ravens. Everyone is so.
Hold on, you're gonna go underdog every time. This is what Maxx does. First off, he chooses underdogs in anything.
I can't. Are you gonna let me fucking speak?
No, he's gonna spice
I can't even finish. That's crazy.
Nate Diaz is winning, bro.
I just feel like, and look, he ends up beating Connor. But my point is this: I just feel like this season is weird. Everything has been weird about this year. New teams, different teams stepping up, upsets, things like that. They're playing in an ugly game. I don't think it benefits either team directly. I feel like it's literally snowing in Baltimore right now. It's going to be disgusting. I feel like the Texans are younger. I feel like they're also ready to fucking roll. And the Ravens have been chilling a little bit. They've been at the crib, a little comfortable. I just have a weird feeling that this game is going to be very close. And I'm going to go with the upset on the road, 24-21. The Texans pull it out and beat the Ravens and shock the world.
Walk-off? Is it a walk-off field goal?
I'm going walk-off field goal.
Oh, man.
Walk-off field goal, Texans pull off the upset.
No one saw that coming.
Yes, I think – no, not at all.
I have a feeling that everyone's going to be a domino effect on this one. 8:15 Saturday night. Green Bay's coming into. Is it Candlestick?
How can you disagree with a Trent Williams, right? A CMC, a Debo. I'm sorry, but like
Dabo.
you got a bunch of dog.
Dabo Sweeney.
That's your favorite coach, also, dude.
He's cool. Yeah, he's dope. We get along. Anyways, so I think that it'll be I think they 31-7.
Holy shit, dude.
31-7 Niners.
That's kind of disrespectful. You know what? Guys that don't know what they're doing, don't have goals, aren't driven. They look at records, right? They don't believe in themselves. So me being 3-3, you would think I'd just be safe. Well, fuck that. I'm going Green Bay Packers on a dummy upset because I think that Jair Alexander and the boys in the secondary are going to rattle Brock Purdy. And no offense to Brock Purdy, I think he's been balling, and he's a system guy, but you got to be a good guy to be in the system to make it all happen. That being said, I think they're going to humble that man, and I think Trent Williams is the best left tackle in football, no doubt about it. But I just think that they're rolling. It's all about who's hot right now. They're playing great football, and I'm going Green Bay Packers 35-32.
Damn!
35
Yeah! Hey! They put 48 on Dallas.
48.
Okay. Now we're talking. Thank you, Brogan. This is what I needed.
Now we're splitting.
It's just like 60
Now, exactly. Not getting comfortable.
This is how I jump the. This is how I jump the records right here. You guys miss it. Now that's where I get my step up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to give – okay, this is the thing. I disagree with Creel and DT when it comes to being an ass whooping. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. Matt LaFleur is from the Shanahan tree. He knows all the ins and outs of their offense, which is what nobody's talking about. He knows exactly what they're going to run in certain sets and things like that. I feel like it's going to give Brock Purdy real issues because they're going to make him play quarterback. So, Green Bay, they got a lot of talent, a lot of good players. But overall, I think the Niners pull it out 28-25 and win in a close one. But it's going to be a really competitive game, and I think it's going to come down to the end.
They're going to have to start the game by running the ball, like establishing the run, and if that's shut down, then they are royally fucked.
Who's that? San Fran?
No, I'm talking about the Packers. They're going to have to be.
I'm going to tell you the key. If Green Bay can get the ball first and score and be up, not chasing the whole game, then I think that's their best bet because then you're not playing catch up. And 100%. You know, Max, Niners can't just play their game. You know what I mean? They got to do something else.
CMC.
Yeah, the Niners are their record. I think Shanahan's record when down, like coming from behind, is like super low. Like the Niners are the best team when they're up and they're comfortable and they're doing what they do. But when you're coming from behind, they struggle. So it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be a really good game.
Max,
no question.
I got one question for this matchup before we go to the next one for you. If Jordan Love, I'm an Aaron Rodgers, that's my GOAT. We know that. It's been established. But if he can beat the Niners, because Aaron went and lost to him in the NFC Championship, right? If I'm not mistaken, a few times here in the playoffs.
Twice.
Yes. If he can pull that off this year, not saying he's better than Aaron, but will Packers fans slowly forget about Aaron and just be on the full love train?
I think so. I think this is my only thing. Rodgers, obviously, he won a Super Bowl. He'll forever be a legend. Forever, he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. The thing is, I feel like he stayed there a little too long, and towards the end, he just started. It become more about everything else besides football, and then he didn't produce at the end, and then they would lose to teams they're supposed to beat in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I just feel like people didn't love Rodgers going out like they did when, about 5 years ago. It wasn't the same. People are starting to get irritated with him. So if Love comes in, gets a huge win, takes him to the fucking NFC Championship, I think people will really start, being all in on the Love train. No doubt.
Yeah, I like that. Go ahead, Crow. My bad.
All right. What do we got next?
So the first kickoff for Sunday is Buccaneers travel to Motown to face the Lions, 3 o'clock, which I think this is the hardest pick 'em because just like Dee said, at one point you got to sway away. You can't take all the favorites because you probably know it's not going to hit. I see one of two things happen. If the Buccaneers win, it's going to be a shootout, back and forth, no defense showed up at all. And if Detroit wins, I think they get up early and just control their clock and just run it down their throat. But then they have Vita Vea. They have a decent front. It's like, what can they really do on the run game? Because that's the bread and butter of like the Lions. If you kind of shut down the run game, and kind of same thing, Jared Goff's a stud. But if you force him to throw it 60 times, you're at a disadvantage as a Lion than you are as the opponent. With that being said, I'm going to have to go with the home favorite here. I think the Lions story is not over yet. I think Dan Campbell has them boys absolutely foaming at the mouth. They're not going to win at home. Baker was recently quoted on saying that one of his buddies, I don't know who played for the Rams, and said it was the loudest atmosphere he's ever been a part of, which that kind of speaks volumes. And people in Detroit are foaming as well. I think it's just a huge collaboration of need, not a want, an absolute need to win. And I think that the Lions get it done. Closer than no, fuck it. 31-20.
Are you guys going to D?
All right.
D?
Yeah. Yeah, this man in the suit, I put my suit away right now. It's gone. Because this is what happens. They show you all these underdog wins. They suck you in, and they're like, oh, it'll be, 60-40 again. Why don't I just hit these no-brainer underdogs? But they're not no-brainers. They're going to the Lions at home against the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
The Bucks have been hot and cold. We can't forget. We've seen some real good play here in the end of the season from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
But a zebra doesn't change their stripes, right? They've not been consistent. So I think that they're going to go into Detroit. I think the Lions are going to be roaring and shit. You know how they do. And I think that they come out with a 28-14 victory, nice and comfortable. But what I will say is that it's going to be tough to run the ball and do all those things with the Bucs defense because, like you said, you got two fucking stalwarts at linebacker who can run sideline to sideline that can cover, and then you got Vita Vea and you got some horses up front. So that's it. It'll be a game that's won inside the box.
Yeah.
I like that, D. I obviously being here in Detroit, the city is buzzing.
No doubt.
A fan?
I'm not a fan. I ride with my guys, but I'm not a fan.
Oh my guys.
Oh my guys. But anyways, the city. Take it easy, guy. I'm a big Raiders guy. Anywho, I'm gonna take. This is what I think. I think Baker and them are playing very well. I don't know if the secondary for Detroit can check or hold Mike Evans. I think that's a key point. I don't know if the secondary is good enough to do that job. So it's going to be all about Aiden Hutchinson, those boys up front, Kaminsky, if they can get some pressure on Baker, make him hold him to the rock a little bit. But that being said, I think Detroit's just too much. Montgomery didn't play in the first matchup, and Detroit still beat him. He's going to be back here again. I think Detroit's going to be loud. I think they're going to blow them out. I think it's going to be 33-11. Or 33-13.
Weird score.
Let's say, how the hell is it 11?
I was trying to add it.
A 2-point conversion.
2 safeties and a touchdown.
Three field goals and a safety.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I really want to go against the grain, but I can't.
I really wanted to as well, dude.
Yeah, I really want to, but I'm not. I'm going to keep it very short and sweet. 24-10, Detroit Lions win, and they meet San Francisco in the NFC Championship game.
Boom.
Man.
Boom.
Yes. Battle.
Last but not least, probably the most anticipated matchup of the weekend, Kansas City for the first time going away to Buffalo, which is a huge advantage for the Bills. I see this being a shootout up and down on the field. I think the weather for the most part is cool, which I mean is nothing like crazy the winds or nothing crazy with the storm of snow. I think it's just gonna be cold as hell, which is conditions that both teams is obviously used to. But I think this is the year that Buffalo finally gets over the hump. I think they're the hotter team right now. They've been winning.
Wow.
They've been winning, I think, 7 of their last 8. I think this is the year that he finally does it. This is the year the Chiefs have looked the worst, in my opinion, in the Mahomes era. And not that this is the best Bills team I've seen, but it's the worst Chiefs team I've seen. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Bills at home.
Wow.
31-24.
Wow. I like it.
Can I get a weather?
Yeah, I would love.
We know.
What I saw was nothing crazy. I'll pull it up for your advantage.
I feel like it won't even be that cold. I know that's crazy to say, but I feel like.
I know we're getting drilled with snow now. I don't know if they're going to get it as well.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna keep this one short and sweet, and I promised I wouldn't go on a negative, vulgar-ridden rant.
12 and sunny, D.
Perfect weather.
All right, Bills. Bills. I think they go 28-21. Bills.
Wow.
Are you guys?
Yeah.
Did you guys write down the same scores together or the same teams together before?
Did he?
The fuck?
Just
No, but if you did last week, you'd be 5-1.
It's all right, dude. It's a marathon. Anyway, so
Saucy.
I'm gonna go with. I think that Josh Allen is a cowboy, and that's a good thing. But sometimes that's a bad thing. He plays like he's gonna run, he's gonna fumble, he's gonna intercept, or he's gonna throw some magnificent bombs. And that being said, this is not a popular choice. I know people are gonna hate it, but I'm taking the Chiefs. They've been there, they've done that, they know what it takes. They got their number, in my opinion. So I'm gonna say Chiefs, 27-24.
Nice. Even though I hate to do this, Brogan, I agree with you. I think everyone thinks, okay, the Bills are the hottest team right now. Chiefs, they've been struggling. It's happened before. They've been doubted. But I just have a feeling the Chiefs are going to find a way to get a win. I trust Mahomes more, than Josh Allen, even though they're both incredible quarterbacks. I feel like it's going to be a great duel, back and forth. But I think it's going to be 27-21, the Chiefs win on the road.
I like that.
nice.
Yeah.
Can we get a
There it
prediction
is.
for? Do you think Kelsey will do it much? He's been pretty quiet as of late.
He has to have a huge impact.
He's got to have a big game.
If
He
not,
does. I thought last week was his week.
Yeah, but the Dolphins were limping in, man. They have no defense right now. None.
They had nobody.
I mean, he
Bills
had like 4 drops.
Bro, the Bills
They
they get after
very
it.
uncharacteristic.
The
Yeah,
Bills control the line of scrimmage. They have some moose up there, bro.
Yeah, they got
Interior
some big
guys.
Vaughn's starting to come on a little bit.
Yeah, he is. He did.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Uncle
due
Von.
for a big game. And this
Did
would
he get a sack
know.
last week?
Nah.
No, but he was all over the quarterback.
I know. I told you he didn't forget.
Next week, I think
no.
this is the week where he just comes out. He might bust out a 2-piece.
Wouldn't be
Yeah,
out of
he
character. Is that the final one, Krill?
That'd be dope.
No.
Yeah, that's all
Wow.
four, man.
Okay. Well, shit.
Enjoy it because next week's only a 2-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
2-piece chicken
It
nugget.
starts getting sad.
It does.
Yeah.
Then we all go into seasonal depression.
Like, yeah, red zone ends and you're like, oh man, fuck. But like the first game, like last week you have a ton of games. This week, okay, we're good with 4. But it's like next week it really hits when you have one day, 2 games. God forbid one of them stink.
Yeah, you have to actually start finding hobbies and shit to do back home now and stuff. It's not
Sure.
sweet. Hey, Max, really quick, we want to give everybody, Condor Cartel and anyone else that's tuning in, a little update on the Rush merge. Not even an update, just let them know where they can get it.
You can get it online, obviously, madmaxmerch.com. Also, links in Instagram bio, links on everything we got connected to the show. But everyone keep getting that merch. Keep posting. Keep tagging me. Keep tagging all of us as well. We'll repost you guys showing off your Rush merch. We got more stuff coming. We got the new Tony Soprano inspired cigar, T-shirt out right now and hoodies. So those are going crazy. So keep buying those up, and we're going to keep bringing y'all more heat. And if you got suggestions of shit you want, let us know in the comments, and we'll make it come to life. So we appreciate you guys. Keep liking, subscribing, commenting, the whole deal.
Sir,
We appreciate it.
Perfect, man.
All right, boys. You know what time it is. Yep, I see you with the Zen Water. Zen Water, put it up. Yep, you already know. Zen Water, Slate Milk. A big shout out to Slate as well.
God, I still need to get me one of those.
Can't go wrong.
Me too.
I mean, nothing better. But let me be honest with you guys. This is my favorite segment of the show. I've said it every single time. The Rushman of the week. Obviously, a little bit more limited. We got a lot less games. But there were some guys that stood out to us. So we got our Rushman of the week this week. Starting number 3, we got Will Anderson, second-time Rushman of the week. Candidate or
Nominee,
I don't know
winner.
the word you give for it, but recipient, nominee, winner. But he is number 3 this week. He had 3 tackles. He had a sack, a TFL, and was making plays all over the field. So Will Anderson, rookie, dude had a hell of a season. He's continuing to play at a high level, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he plays this weekend. Obviously, biggest game of the year coming up. He's playing the Ravens. they got Moses, they got Stanley over there, 2 really good tackles. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he matches up against them. So, our number 3 Rushman of the week, Will Anderson.
Shit, Willie.
Big shit. Yeah. Number 2. I mean, I think this is the second or third time?
It could be second or third.
That's a good question. It might be second or third.
I think this is 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3.
I think this might be 3. This might be 3, but we're taking it back to the D, to our guy Aiden Hutchinson. Again, balls out, 2 sacks. I believe he had 6 tackles. The dude is balling out. So I got to show my respect. Aiden Hutchinson, one of the better young rushers in the game. He's only getting better. Having a huge, playoff debut. So big shout out to him getting a 2-piece chicken nugget. In his first playoff game, that's a big deal for any rusher. So big shout out to him, brother. You are our Rushman, our number 2 Rushman of the week for the 3rd time.
Let's go.
So appreciate you, brother.
Nice. Always got to eat.
Nice.
For number 1 this week, we had to get, we had a lot of options. Aiden could have been it. Will. There was a lot of, a couple other guys honorable mentions, but number 1 has to go to my guy, George Karlaftis. He had 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks, a TFL, and I don't know how many exact pressures he had, but he was everywhere. He had a great game. He was super disruptive. And this is a dude, I met him at the Von Miller Pass Rush Summit last year. Dude's, he's young. He's gotten a lot better. He's continuously getting better. And, even though he's a Chief, I definitely, I got respect for my rushers regardless of where they're at. So I know he's a young guy who loves the game, and he's only going to get better moving forward. So our number 1 Rushman of the week goes to George Karlaftis.
Oh.
Big shout out to you, brother.
Hell of a name.
Hell of a name.
What's his?
Sick name.
He's got. I wonder what his. Thank you.
He's Greek.
He's great.
He's Greek.
A little Saganaki before the games, catch it on fire. Opa.
It's my favorite food.
Yes.
So fire.
Opa. There's literally nothing better.
Mediterranean
Nothing
food
better.
is so
I
dumb.
agree.
So
Dummy.
I felt like
All right, boys. It's closing
take us
time.
home. Take us home.
Same time.
this is where everyone just mumbles off.
Lights come on. What do you? Hey, lights come on. What do you got?
Dry. Yeah, exactly.
What do you got when the lights come on? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck. I need to go home.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes,
I can connect every time I
right.
play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys. Episode 16 of The Rush. We're going to keep bringing you guys content. We got more guests coming. Obviously, today we had Ian Rapoport, special guest to the show. We're going to have him on more than once. Great guest, so big shout out to Ian. But we're going to continue having guests. We're going to be traveling more. We're going to have some vlogs. The Pro Bowl is up in the air right now. I'm trying to go, but we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, so we can get out there, get some great content, be around a bunch of great players, and get some great interviews. Also, Super Bowl week coming up as well. That's going to be a slam dunk. We're going to have a ton of guests from all different facets of life, from athletes to entertainers to musicians, whatever it is, we're going to get them. So we're going to have all type of different people getting on the show, and we got a ton of content coming your way. So we appreciate you guys. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep commenting. Tune in everywhere: Apple, Spotify, iHeart, everywhere, YouTube. Keep tuning in. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Without you guys, the fans, none of this would be possible. This is episode 16 of The Rush. We love y'all.
Let's get it.
Deuces.
Love y'all.